Shalom. So I was doing some study, and you can see I already have the reference up here, Revelation 18 and 23, and I saw this, so I decided to look it up in blueletterbible.org. And if you see at the top, Blue Letter Bible offers you the ability to change the different translations and so on and so forth, but it defaults to the King James Version. So this is according to the King James Version. Anyway, so Revelation 18:23, and the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, and for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So this is actually talking about the fall of Babel or Babylon. And by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So what I did was you go to tools over here on the side, and then you go find that word. It opens it up and it shows each word that's used for each Greek word that's used for the word that we're reading. So right here, you see this is sorceries. This is the Strong's Concordance reference number, because blueletterbible.org goes by Strong's Concordance. And then you see the Greek word is pharmakeia. And if you want to know what that means, you just type on the Strong's Concordance number. It opens it up. You can open up Strong's info, but I always go to show outline of biblical usage, because this is how it's used biblically. So when you open it up, you see that it's the use or the administering of drugs. It's poisoning. It's sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. And then metaphorically, it's the deceptions and seductions of idolatry. But what I do is I go down here where it says view Old Testament results in the Greek Septuagint Concordance. So this is going to show this word in what we call the Old Testament and how it's used. It'll also show you what the Hebraic word is for this Greek word. So you click on that. So it brings up all the different, well, both of the verses that this word is used in. And if you read both of them and, pause it, because I'm just going to go into verse 9. If you read both of them, they both say something to the source of sorceries, okay, in the English. So you see this right here, for the multitude of thy sorceries. Then it talks about enchantments. And then again with the multitude of thy sorceries. All right. But I'm going to go into Isaiah 47 and 9. And I'm going to find that word sorceries. So you see right here, sorceries. You see the Strong's Concordance. The H is Hebrew 3785, and then this is the word. Now, these little vowel markings at the bottom, those were added in by the Masoretes. So the word would actually be kashap, not kesep, kashap. Okay. But anyway, so you would hit this right here, go down to the biblical usage, and you see sorcery, witchcraft. Remember, in the Greek, it was pharmakeia. Okay? So I'm going to back out of it. And then I'm going to go, this is the same verse, Isaiah 47 and 9. Right here, it says Septuagint. Remember, that is the Greek Old Testament. So I'm going to click on that. And the Strong's Concordance reference number for pharmakeia is G5331. So we're going to see if that's in here. Okay. You can see on the right hand side the Strong's reference number. So we're going to scroll and see if we can find G5331. There it is, right here. And you also see the word pharmakeia. So it's the same word in Revelation 18:23, where it says, for by thy sorceries. So he's saying by pharmakeia is sorcery. And you saw it said the use or administering of drugs, right? What do we call the medical drug that you get from your doctors? Pharmaceuticals. You go to the pharmacy to get your pharmaceuticals. the root word for those is pharmakeia, which means sorcery. So by thy sorceries. Actually, let's see. So I have this thing. That's not it. I have this thing, etymoline. I always pronounce it wrong. Right here. And it allows you to see the etymology of a word. So I'm going to see pharmaceutical. Actually, you know what? I want to go down here to pharmacy. I want to do that first. So I don't know if you can pause this to read this, but a medicine that rids the body of an excess of humors, except blood. Also treatment with medicine, theory of treatment with medicine. So now it starts to tell you what it's from. I want you to go down here where it says, from Greek, pharmakeia, a healing or harmful medicine, a healing or poisonous herb, a drug, poisonous potion, magic, potion, dye, raw material for physical or chemical processing. This is the word pharmacy. It shows you right here. It's from the Greek word pharmakeia that we just saw in the Strong's that comes from the Bible. I forgot to go back to pharmaceutical. So this stuck out to me. So it's from late Latin, pharmaceuticus, of drugs, from Greek, pharmaceutikos, from pharmakeias, which is a preparer of drugs, poisoner, and then it tells you to see pharmacy. Let me do that again, because I definitely struck through the word see pharmacy. And so we already went there and looked at what it says for pharmacy. When you go to pharmaceutics, it just tells you to see pharmaceutical, which is what we just saw. Apologies, this is what we just saw. And then let me go back into pharmaceutical. It shows you these words are connected right here. So pharmakeios, see pharmacy. That's why I went to pharmacy in the first place. So in the late 14th century, it shows you that this is the definition of this word. That's the medicine that rids the body of excess humors except blood. Also treatment with medicine, theory of treatment with medicine. And then it tells you that it's from this old French word, pharmacy, a purgative, and that's the 13th century. And then directly from medieval Latin, pharmacia, or from Greek, pharmakeia. Okay, so when you go into the etymology, it shows you the evolution of these words. Now, what I find interesting, I'm going to go into the YouVersion Bible right here. It always takes a while to open up. So I'm going to go to Isaiah 47, which is where we saw pharmakeia used in the Septuagint. Let's see, 47, but I'm going to start in verse 1 because I want you to see what it says. Let me unhighlight that. Okay. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground without a throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For you shall no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Remove your veil. Take off the skirt, uncover the thigh. Pass through the rivers. Your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, your shame will be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not arbitrate with a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahuah Zabaoth is his name, the Kadash one of Yasharal. Sit in silence and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no longer be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. On the elderly you laid your yoke very heavily, and you said, I shall be a lady forever, so that you did not take these things to heart, nor remember the latter end of them. Therefore hear this now, you who are given to pleasures, who dwell securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, nor shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their fullness, because of the multitude of your sorceries, for the great abundance of your enchantments. I'm going to go to verse 12 because that was the other reference. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge have warped you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and there is no one else beside me. Therefore, evil shall come upon you. You shall not know from where it arises, and trouble shall fall upon you. You will not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. Stand now with your enchantments and the multitude of your sorceries, in which you have labored from your youth. Perhaps you will be able to profit. Perhaps you will prevail. I'm going to keep going because it's only 15 verses. You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from what shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. It should not be a coal to be warmed by, nor a fire to sit before. Thus shall they be to you with whom you have labored, your merchants from your youth. They shall wander, each one to his quarter. No one shall save you. That last part. I want to go to Revelation 18, and I'm going to start in the very beginning because I want you to see how it's related. So first and foremost, we see it's going to be talking about the fall of Babylon the Great, or Babel. After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and Yahuah has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she has mix double for her. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as queen and am no widow, and will not see sorrow. Remember, we just read that in Isaiah. Therefore her plagues will come in one day, and death and mourning and famine. We just read that too. And she will be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahuah Eluah who judges her. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle, sheep, horses and chariots, and bodies and souls of men. Wow, that last one, and bodies and souls of men. Nobody's going to buy them anymore. That's deep. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who travel by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance. Where did I get blood from? And cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what is like this great city? They threw dust on their heads and cried out, weeping and wailing and saying, alas, alas, that great city in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. This is prophecy. That Revelation is confirming the prophecy of the prophet Isaiah, Yeshayahu. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you Kadash apostles and prophets, for Yahuwah has avenged you on her. Then a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, thus with violence the great city Babylon shall be thrown down and should not be found any more. The sound of harpists, musicians, flutists, and trumpeters should not be heard in you any more. No craftsman of any craft shall be found in you any more. And the sound of a millstone should not be heard in you any more. That was another prophecy that Yeshayahu, Isaiah, said. The light of a lamp should not shine in you anymore, and the voice of bridegroom and bride should not be heard in you anymore. For your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by your sorcery all the nations were deceived, and in her was found the blood of prophets and saints, and of all who were slain on the earth. So I was just sharing that to show how it was connected to Isaiah 47. And that's important to know because, again, that word pharmakeia is the same word used in Revelation 18 and Isaiah 47. So it's not like it's showing a reference of this word in the Septuagint, which is the Greek Old Testament, but it doesn't have anything to do with what this word is. Basically, the context is the same. As a matter of fact, you can actually see that Yeshayahu, Isaiah, is prophesying about what it's speaking of in Revelation 18. It's the same word, pharmakeia. So it just stood out to me that by your sorcery, all the nations were deceived. And it's like, what are they always pushing? These drugs. They're always pushing these drugs on us. They're trying to sedate us, you guys. I just, praise Yah. Hallelujah for this revelation. There's one thing that I forgot, and that's Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 25. I'm going to start in, because I just found this interesting as well. Yirmiyahu 25, starting in verse 8, because I found this interesting too in relation to what is being said. Therefore says Yahuwah Zaba'ath, because you have not, he's talking to, let me go back up real quick. So this is the word that came to Yirmiyahu concerning all the people of Yehuda in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Yeshayahu, king of Yehuda. So Jeremiah is talking to the people of Judah when he's saying this. Hopefully it makes it understandable. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Zaba'ath, because you have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, says Yahuwah, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, against its inhabitants, and against these nations all around, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, a hissing, and perpetual desolations. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth. Mirth is a type of alcohol, kind of like wine. And the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones and the light of the lamp. And I just wanted to really emphasize that, because this is also what it says in Revelation 18. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Okay, and then it says, then it will come to pass when 70 years are completed, that I will punish the king of Babylon and the nation, the land of the Chaldeans. If you think about what we just read in Yahuah 47, it talks about Babel and the Chaldeans. For their iniquity, says Yahuah, and I will make it a perpetual desolation. So I will bring on that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, all that is written in this book, which Yirmiyahu has prophesied concerning all the nations. For many nations and great kings shall be served by them also, and I will repay them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands. The thing about it is, if I'm not mistaken, it's Revelation 13. Yahuah also talks about that. I would just suggest reading all of Jeremiah 25. It's it's very enlightening. Just read all of it. And I'm just going to check real quick. I can't remember exactly where it is in Revelation, so apologies. I want to say it's 13. I could be wrong. Let's go. Actually, I think it's actually, let me go back. I think it's 20. I always get those two mixed up. Somewhere starting around, let's start in verse 9. Here it is. Starting in verse 11. Then I saw a great white throne and him who sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before Yahuah, and books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged according to their works, by the things that were written in the books. The sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and Hades delivered up the dead who were in them. And they were judged, each one according to his works. Then death and Hades were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. This is the burning that is talking about, the fire that is talking about in Revelation. And anyone not found written spiritually, and anyone not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So, going back to Jeremiah. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. 25. There it is. Where was I in 25? I think somewhere around verse 12. So when you go back and you read that again, and you just see, then it will come to pass when 70 years are completed that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, the land of the Chaldeans, for their iniquity, says Yahuah, and I will make it a perpetual desolation. So I will bring on that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, all that is written in this book which Yirmiyahu has prophesied concerning all the nations. For many nations and great kings shall be served by them, and I will repay them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands. That right there is Revelation 20.